One Piece has just revealed one of the most insane battles in history. ROCKS D Xebec versus Prince Loki, which not only tells us about the type of monster hockey Loki possesses, but Oda has just given us another hint exposing Xebec's dark truth. But right now, Loki is cooked at the mercy of the Straw Hats because, you know, bro got one tapped by the Emperor himself. However, Luffy has a deal with Loki to get Shanks' location. So, Goldberg, Zoro, and Anji are tasked with getting some meat to fix up Loki. On the way, they encounter a freaking Groggysaurus that charges at them. But Goldberg's shield steps in to help, where we also learn that it's actually a homie like Nami's Zeus, created from Big Mom's soul fruit. And with Goldberg having the shield be passed down from his father, it tells us that Zeus is essentially Nami's weapon permanently now. As soon as Goldberg blocks the beast, Zoro and Sanji jump up, charging up their attacks reminiscent of their team up during the Davy backfight. Anji literally launches Zoro with a kick to clap up the Groggy, proving that deep down Sanji knows. He knows Zoro is sharper, stronger, faster than him. Anji is just a stepping stool for the GOAT. That's what this interaction proves, bro. Seriously though, as Sanji starts cooking, because you know he's good at handling meats.
Pause.
He was handling the meats. He's good at handling the meat. Bro works at Arby's. Alright.
2 hours later.
While Sanji's cooking up the meat, Loki reveals to the gang that the God's Knights have already infiltrated Elbaf. Instantly, his brother Hjarden throws out a jab, asking if this was just another result of one of Loki's tantrums overseas, causing the God's Knights to have a grudge. But Loki doesn't even hesitate. He brushes it off, saying that he didn't get the chance to meet them in his journeys, and if he did, he would have become king of the world. And that line is not just a flex. It's a callback to the darkest moment in Elbaf's political history. The theory that King Harold, along with the other elders, were manipulated by the world government, where they were offered either an affiliation slot or something bigger like a throne atop the world, all in exchange for sacrificing Elbaf's children with the help of Mother Caramel to the Celestial Dragon's Diddy network. Harold, either blinded by ambition or cornered by the threat of extinction, might have accepted the offer to join the world stage, unknowingly becoming a cog in the darkest machine of the world. But there is another layer to this claim which circles back to ROCKS D Xebec, which I will explain in just a bit, because Luffy is about to kill Loki again. First, he gobbles up some of the meat for himself, then puts the burning meat on top of Loki's face. Bro is already down. But just like how Luffy heals faster and gets better after eating meat, Loki is the same, as his energy starts to become more rejuvenated, until bro starts choking. Bro, only Sanji can handle the meat like that. You can't handle it like that, bro. Zip it up. It's okay though, because Luffy brings in a boiling cup of soup to help, which only ends up burning Loki even more. After these antics, Luffy apologizes to the giant. This entire interaction between the two seems to have a deeper meaning though. Luffy genuinely wants to help Loki, as out of everyone there, only he understands the prince's pain. Even Zoro is like, nah bro, this dude definitely tricking you, homie. However, Loki's behavior stems from rejection, and it all started over 40 years ago. Loki says he wasn't lying about knowing where Shanks went, but he won't spill it until all his chains are freed, as that was the deal. Noticing Luffy's enthusiasm toward Shanks, Loki explains how he understands that feeling of looking up to a pirate in your youth. While Luffy had Shanks, Loki admired ROCKS D Xebec. So far, we have seen this repeating time and time again, even now with Colin and Shanks and Elbaf. But the ones I want to focus on are Luffy, Loki, and Pedro, who also begged Roger to join the crew when he was younger. However, However, Loki wasn't so lucky, as the way Roger, Shanks, and Rocks dealt with these kids was extremely different. Roger knew Pedro is just a kid and wasn't ready for the crazy adventures of the Grand Line just yet. And the same can be said about Shanks and Luffy, but Xebec was ruthless. Not only was he constantly rude to Kid Loki, my guy stabbed and almost killed him during their battle. Luffy also got injured trying to join Shanks' crew, as evident by the scar under his eye. He did it to himself though, trying to show his strength and resolve to his mentor. Even after being the cause of Shanks' right arm severing, he was still accepted with a smile, even given the straw hat to look after. Meanwhile, Loki was crushed by his own idol for being himself, a child who just wanted to sail the sea with a badass like Rocks. This rejection after being himself is seen throughout his story, and the more we learn about Loki's past, I believe it will keep coming back, as he was rejected by the people of Elbaf who feared him, and even after leaving Elbaf, he was rejected by his Huz Lola, giving reason for his crash outs. I don't think they're justified. Your Huz rejects you, you don't crash out like that. Don't do that.
What you did was not nice! It's not nice to do that!
Coming back to Loki versus Rocks though, just having the balls to confront probably the strongest man in the world at the time, considering Roger and Garp had to team up against him, Loki's will is on that Yonko level. This little old Brad legit believed he could use his little old Kanabo to damage Xebec. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, Sid, haven't you talked about how Rocks was misunderstood and is shown as being evil by the celestial propaganda? And doesn't him stabbing a literal kid prove their propaganda now? Even Whitebeard is like, daddy chill. Well, you have to understand that Elbaf's culture is quite different from other nations, especially over 40 years ago before Harold's reforms. They are warriors through and through. So if a giant, even a kid, challenging you will be treated with seriousness. Instead of being cruel to Loki, Rocks showed respect by taking him seriously as a warrior. While Luffy got shown he would be a burden to Shanks due to his weakness after Shanks losing his arm, Loki got shown he wasn't ready for Xebec's crew in the way of the Rocks pirates. Strength above all, and if you don't have it, Rocks doesn't want you. It is ruthless through and through. I guess actions like these are the reason for Whitebeard and even Big Mom to not with Rocks that much, as they live by a pirate's code of honor. While this interaction shows that Rocks only lives by one thing, becoming the king of the world, which means to fight and dethrone the celestial dragons. Another question that arises after this flashback is, why was Rocks in Elbaf? Was it for recruitment or something greater like an alliance with the giants, since, you know, Elbaf isn't affiliated with the world government? Also, remember that right before God Valley, the celestials stole the jewel of Hachinose Island, meaning Rocks and his crew weren't present. So what if they were in Elbaf at the time looking for more treasures? But those of you who have the notification bell on and drink gamer subs every day with code ABD getting 10% off know that one of the jewels was likely Rocks' sister, but watch the Rocks video for that theory, because Loki regrets those days, even stating that he was born in the wrong era since he got the worst mentor out of all three of them, and a complete opposite of what happened with Luffy and Pedro. Instead of acceptance, he was rejected. However, as Loki reminisces about his childhood, Elbaf is still going through hell as giant warrior pirates engage in battle. Dari and Broggy decimate the nightmares, then Gaban charges in and cuts the Loki monster in half like it's butter. Yeah, the left wing of the Pirate King can't beat the cursed Prince of Loki. Well, at least the children's version of him, who even Gaban states is weaker than the actual Loki, which makes sense. Imagine Killingham's power was like, you imagine Godzilla and he can just summon Godzilla with 100% strength Godzilla in front of you. That's beyond broken. He would be the strongest pirate in the whole world. He wouldn't even need a whole crew. You just need a few lackeys to dream up some scary things and they're part of your crew, you know. That is broken, busted power. But my guy Gaban is an experienced fighter, and although old, his observation haki is still better than most we have seen in the series, as he is able to sense 3 people who are, unbeknownst to him, the God's Knights responsible for this attack. attack. My man can hear them from miles apart. Realizing the current situation, Gabon reaches a conclusion that will scare us all. If the government politics and all the fighting has finally reached even Elbaf, then the world is done. And coming from a guy like Gabon, who knows the true history of the entire world and has seen what Joy Boy said in Laugh Tale, we are definitely in the endgame right now. This is because countries like Elbaf and Wano are not only unaffiliated with the world government, but also have naturally strong defenses against any attacker. So for Emu to just send the God's Knights here means that he feels strong enough after 800 years to take over every corner of the world. These last bastions of hope and freedom are about to be extinguished as well. Elbaf being the final location also makes sense since we know Ragnarok will happen. If Gabon really wanted to run away, he can just go see his old friend Rayleigh or go stay with Crocus. Wait, hold up. Where's he gonna take his giant family around? Like, where's Miss Ripley gonna stay? That's a real problem, man. I have an empty room. I'm just saying, I have an empty room. Hey, Gabon. But Gabon's statement here is also something that differentiates between the left and right hand of the Pirate King. There are similarities between Roger, Gabon, and Rayleigh. They're exceptionally strong. In fact, some of the strongest in their prime, and they even found love in their own way, but there was one major difference. Their interpretation of One Piece and how they reacted to it. Now, Rayleigh realized that Roger was not the one who was meant for whatever they found at Laugh Tale. So he retired at Sabaody and became a coding mechanic to see the potential of the future generations that have to pass through to reach the new world and hopefully find the person who was meant for the One Piece. In Gabon's case, apart from roaming around and meeting Crocus, it seems he moved to Elbaf to hide from the coming chaos of the world since, bro is retired, which is in threat right now because of these lame ass God's Knights. Not even the firefighters can put out the massive flames which are about to engulf the children. Every attempt to get them out has failed, as even singling out the children causes the child themselves to be harmed. These God's Knights aren't playing around. This torture of the kids and the entire giant country being turned upside down by merely 3 God's Knights truly shows Emu's might. There may only be like 20 knights under Emu, or even less, but even one could give an admiral a run for their money. Because we learned last chapter that it's not just the western village that's having their kids stolen, it's all of Elbaf. This entire fiasco is just a game to these guys, okay? But this delight that they have reveals another layer to Gonko. Y'all know Yusuf and I have this theory of Gonko having split personality like Hakuba, or even being Monkey Deadbeat Dragon's double agent. So by proxy, dragons in Elbaf technically.
Shut up.
Either way, it's interesting how she describes the kids burning. They will wake up from the heat, screaming for their parents in terror, then the flames will burn them down to the bone. This is a vivid depiction, as if she herself has gone through this ordeal. And due to her face being bandaged, hey, she's hiding some burn marks under those bandages, I'm telling you guys. Which suggests that she too used to be a kidnapped celestial slave kid who survived all the ordeals thrown at her by the celestial Diddy, resulting in her promotion. However, the trauma was so great that she has 2 different personalities like Hakuba and Cavendish, hence the 2 colored eyes. And when she realizes this, hella lawsuits against the celestial Diddy. Fortunately for the giant kids though, Jinbei, just like he did at the end of Wano, uses his current shoulder throw, stopping the flames in an instant. Trouble's not over though, as Gonko has taken the stage by popping right in front of Jinbei, who stopped their entertainment alongside the meal. It seems she is here targeting Colon, as they want all the children to be taken to Marie Schwab. A possibility is that the government usually kidnaps all the kids before exterminating an island. This is likely done to find suitable God's Knights candidates like Gonko, while using the leftovers as slaves under Marie Joie, or even breeding candidates like Ginny when they show enough potential. Honestly, it's just genocide of an entire island while extracting the most out of the next generation. However, with the Straw Hats present on the island, Elbaf won't be so easy, because right now, Gunko is facing Jinbei with a billion-plus berry bounty, God Usopp with 500 million berry bounty, Nami with 366 million berry bounty, and even Gunko's favorite rock star, Brook, with 383 million bounty. Together, that's over 2 billion berries Gunko gotta contend against, because ain't no way they're just gonna stand by while Colon gets grabbed. With Brook being there though, this will be a very fun interaction, because Bruz is literally staring up Gunko's legs. There's also Colon's father Gaban, who is right around the corner, and he will show up in a flash if he sees his child in harm's way. For Oda to just like set this 1v5 matchup against Gunko speaks to these God's Knights' strength, okay? These are real, true monsters. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, watch the video on screen right now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week. I'm working on that dragon video. It's coming.